Whoa, hello. There we are.
Good evening, Acadiana.
Hi, this is Bob giving you with
Squat
Nick,
down, Bob. A little squat, Bob.
Nick and Mo, and after that show, I ask y'all to join us into Insight into Mental Health with me and my co-host Richard Phelps, and we talk about mental illness and from anywhere from schizophrenia, which I have, to bipolar. Y'all know the words. And we hope y'all enjoy it. It'll be an interesting show. We will have a Christian guy on with the Freedom Group that I belong to. And so y'all tune in. It should be at 8 o'clock. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Much props to Bob. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
You know, hey,
Pleasure
he's a friend of the show. You know, I'm gonna try to be on the show with you in the summertime, Bob.
Yeah,
you
will be welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and we talk a lot about mental health issues in this country as well, mainly with like our politicians.
Oh,
You know,
there's some of them I think got a screw loose, bro.
Which we got Mo here, Nayday. Welcome to Higher Thought, which we were considering possibly rebranding a little bit.
Rebranding is exactly what I was thinking.
Well, because we need a new YouTube channel, and you know, some people kind of get different thoughts about the name. You know, so hey, it's higher education, right?
They automatically want to assume the worst of us.
And you know what happens when you assume.
Right. Makes an ass out of them.
And you and me.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
So we've got some news. We've got some conspiracies. We've got some like entertainment stuff, educational stuff, a little sports if it's interesting.
Little sports. Did we talk about
studies.
wrestling last week?
We talked about the lead up to WrestleMania, and now we're talking about the reaction to WrestleMania.
Okay.
Would you like to start with that?
Actually, yeah, I enjoyed. Once I got into the mindset of looking at it as a series of stunts, and yes, it's a telenovela.
It's basically killer gymnastics, like, you know,
and you as the audience don't know how they've plotted the story.
Surely.
But the interactions are always physical, and how well is it pulled off? How believable is it?
Right, because you really have to hit somebody hard to make it believable, you know, and there are real injuries. People say wrestling's fake, but those injuries are very real, and some of the stunts that they do are very real. You know, however, the big critique of the WrestleMania was that the show was 7.5 hours long. How long can a human body sit in a stadium seat? Not 7.5 hours.
No, I've got to make at least 2 trips to the bathroom.
Which I don't believe you showed up to the WrestleMania party probably till about 7 o'clock. So you only had to see about a 3-4 hour show.
Right, it was about...
Where I had already been there a couple hours. You know, I got there about 4:30 and it started already. You know?
I can't believe the opening bout. I mean, I was...
Which Brock Lesnar lost his title because he's going to UFC. He's got probably a big money match there. That was kind of in my next thing there, the highlights. So in the main event, the man, Becky Lynch, defeated Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Woo!
Right, woo.
In the main event. However, referee Rod Zapata was actually fined for a botched finish because Ronda Rousey's shoulders were not on the mat when they counted to 3. Like at the 2 count, her shoulders were off the mat, and they still gave.
We commented on that at the viewing, how she'd rolled up.
Sure, and the fans noticed, but ultimately they counted it as a finish. Because that was planned how they finished, but you know you're supposed to roll with it. If she got her shoulders up, you can't count to 3.
You gotta go a little.
So needless to say, Vince McMahon had pulled the referee aside and basically made an example of him and fined him.
Oh, how much money?
Undisclosed. Undisclosed. And he's a referee. I don't know how much money they make. You know, definitely not as much as the talent.
Right. Well, too bad the talent aren't employees.
But, and you mentioned Seth Rollins defeating Brock Lesnar, but another major, you know, happening that was probably one of the biggest stories, if not the biggest story from WrestleMania, was Kofi Kingston.
Yes.
Kofi Mania. And Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan to win the WWE Heavyweight Championship, and is in fact the first African native to ever win the WWE title. And he's the first 100% African American to win the title. They say Rock is the first African American, even though he's half Samoan.
Right. Okay, so this guy's actually from Africa?
He's actually from Africa. Yeah. Okay. He's from South Africa, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now he's champ.
And now he is the champion after being in the company for like 11 years or something.
11 years.
And never getting an opportunity at the WWE Championship.
Okay.
A one-on-one title.
I remember that particular bout and how some of the stunts were extremely well done and some of them were kind of sketchy.
They just told a good story.
Yes. Right. There is storytelling.
It's in-ring psychology, and Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston are two of the best. So, however, the Raw and SmackDown the next couple nights were a big letdown to the fans. Usually the WWE brings it on those nights, but
right.
It's like big debuts from new wrestlers from like other companies or from coming up from NXT. It's heel turns, it's crazy storylines, it's big title matches. Mm-hmm. So they started off with a big plan on Monday Night Raw. Basically, Kofi Kingston showed up on Monday Night Raw and challenged Seth Rollins for a winner-takes-all match.
Wow. Okay.
Which is huge.
Sure.
It's huge,
and it should drive fan interest.
Because right now, Becky Lynch is holding both titles.
Yeah.
The WWE pulled a swerve, and ultimately the Bar ran in and broke up the match, and it led to a tag team match, meaning it was all for nothing. So the fans were not happy, and they were booing. They were playing with beach balls. And the wrestlers were going out there and popping the beach balls. Let's see. They were chanting for AEW, which is the new wrestling company coming out. That's going to be WWE's competition in America.
Wow. That's harsh when they're hollering for your competition.
Yeah, and they're not, and the competition is just getting started, which actually they're in the news as well, as they just got a new TV deal with Turner TV. So they'll probably be on TBS and TNT, which is actually what WCW was on whenever they were going against each other back in the day. So, interesting stuff there. Also, another highlight of the WWE WrestleMania weekend, Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
He was in the Hall of Fame. He was doing an induction for Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and a fan came out and tackled him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the dude was apparently I don't know, I guess a crazy conservative, I guess. He had talked about wanting to wrestle the Shield, and I guess he was against the women's main event, But needless to say, he tackled Bret Hart. But security immediately came to the ring along with a bunch of other wrestlers.
Right.
And almost every single wrestler got a shot in on this dude. One of them was on camera, Dash Wilder, freaking nailed him with an uppercut on the way, he was getting his ass whipped all the way back to the back. So, but here's the crazy part about that. The Simpsons.
Oh, yes. O'Killy Dokilly.
Predicted again. Homer Simpson, they have a scene with Bret the Hitman Hart where Homer Simpson is wearing the same hat as the guy that went and tackled Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Is this just coincidence?
Yeah.
Why? How so many times, Simpsons?
The world is small enough that the weirdness goes round and round.
You got it.
Eventually you catch up to it or it catches up to you.
No doubt. So, that's most of the sports news. I mean, I got one other thing, if you want to finish it off.
Was it Feastball?
No, actually, it's the FBI has been investigating the corruption in college basketball.
Good.
And that's what got LSU coach,
right?
And canned him for the rest of the year,
right?
But they are investigating. They were investigating Adidas earlier in the year. Now they're investigating Nike.
Right. Well, ever since Avenatti tried to blackmail them, then he got nailed. They scooped up all his data. Now they're going to pound Nike into the ground and squeeze some cash out of it.
Apparently the story, because I hadn't really heard much about it. I don't watch the real news.
Right.
But apparently Nike paid college basketball players, hundreds of them, to play for this Swoosh-sponsored program. And they have a network of Nike colleges that
Nike
basically
colleges.
that are suggested for them to go to for endorsement deals. So Duke is one of those colleges, which of course Duke is a very prestigious basketball college.
Okay. Duke also got busted recently for like academic fraud with research.
Right, and then they had the lacrosse players accused of rape not too long ago, but they were, set free and found innocent. People don't remember that stuff. Like, you just remember the accusations, and I think like our media is perfect at that. They come out with these big accusations, and then the people are found innocent.
Right, that's buried way.
You
way,
just
way,
remember
way,
the accusation.
Way down. Right. It's
So
like below the fold and on page 3.
What do you think about college athletes getting paid? And folks, if you want to call in and give your thoughts on it as well, we just talk about different stuff and debate as much as we can. 366-8950, press 1.
Press 1.
But college athletes, should they get paid?
Yes.
Why not? Why so?
But the thing is
it fair?
It's got to shift the dynamic of what portion of university funds is diverted to them. In other words, instead of the university spending so much money on athlete lodges and
most of the universities actually, and this was when I was at UL that they made this change. But they made it to where before when you donated money to the university, basically the university decided what to do with it.
Right.
Now you can say where you want your money to go, and that's where UL's athletic complex pretty much blew up, is because they wanted their money to go in athletics.
Really?
Yeah. So ultimately, that's when they built the new gym. They built the new, that the basketball players practice in. They built the new complex for the football team. They renovated the stadium. They built the new track. And so the money's pouring into sports.
That was paid for by alumni
the Raging Cajun
and
Athletic
supporters.
Fund.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, then, if private contributions pay for those improvements,
No doubt.
all for it.
So, but should players be getting some of this cut in this, million, even billion-dollar industry? For college football,
Yes.
Because you already can argue that they get paid in their free education. Most of these, college athletes get that. Not everyone.
Right.
But it's a full-time job, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
These players are going to
in the
class.
off-season.
They're studying. They're having something of a social life, and they're practicing hard. Every single day, and their bodies, take a toll.
Well, some of them don't quite go to class and study as much as
You have to. They'll put you in the cake classes. Don't get me wrong. They give you the easiest professor.
Right.
They get you a tutor that helps you with your homework. And helps you study on your tests. But they're big on compliance nowadays. You gotta meet NCAA compliance requirements.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, if there's a rule set and everyone follows it, then yeah, go ahead.
But it's just like, I guess college basketball, it's like these players, a lot of them can go play in Europe or, right out of high school. You can go play overseas somewhere, just about anywhere.
Now, what kind of money do these people make playing ball?
Probably like 6 figures.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Out of high school?
Well, if you're good enough. But then again, you can go to college. You can go to the NBA developmental league after 1 year of college.
Okay,
so
how does that work? The NBA development.
it's like NXT for WWE.
Okay.
It's just or the minor leagues for Major League Baseball.
Now, see, the minor leagues, that makes sense. That these people.
It's a farm system.
Right. These people play, and they travel, and they get a certain per diem or whatever, and they get a bonus at the end for wins or whatever the system is. Okay, we should do that with football and basketball instead of having, I don't know. You talk about all these upgrades that happen to the university. I see where that's a good thing.
Well, especially to the athletic. But even the new student union, new business building, there's been a lot of additions to the university. We've had a lot more money coming in at UL, at least last I've seen.
Okay. Well, You know me, I'm pretty non-athletic supporter.
I think where you have your issues with it is that, do football and basketball players get paid more because they bring in more money to the university than, maybe like a softball team or even like a golf team or lacrosse team or whatever team, gymnastics. So would the money be spread equally, like Title IX type stuff? Like they already are getting a free education. They pretty much get their dorms free.
Right.
So that is an expense right there. But, that averages out maybe to 30 grand, a year.
Okay.
Which
Well,
is
you're getting 30 grand a year to get
free education, free meals.
And you have to play football well.
Yeah, and you have to have at least like a C average.
Oh, okay.
2.0
That's good.
GPA.
Well, that's a reasonable minimum.
Sure, and really, like your big colleges, they get the best of the best. Most of the ones that they get are not only phenomenal athletes, but they're intelligent as well, enough to be able to stay eligible.
Right. Now, when you
Or
say,
they send them to junior college, they get eligible, and then they bring them in a couple years later.
Okay. So they help build up their fundamentals so that they're ready to be at the
Right.
collegiate level.
No doubt.
Now, when you say the big colleges,
LSU, Alabama, the people that get all the state money.
okay, so these are SEC teams you're talking about mostly.
No, like Michigan, USC, UCLA, all the big
Okay,
state
so
schools.
it's in the Big Ten. It's in
Right, it's
okay.
the big state schools.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but we spend way too much time on sports. This isn't a sports talk show, but it is an interesting topic.
Right, and it was a good conversation.
Yeah. Would you like to hear a conspiracy that I had never heard before, and apparently it's relatively new? You're into books, so you might be interested in checking this one out.
Go.
Okay, so have you ever heard of the book? Let's see if I got an author here. No, I didn't write down the author, dang it. The names of the book. Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. It was written in the 1890s, along with his, I think, second book, 1900, or The Last President. Basically, the conspiracy theory is Trump a time traveler?
Which one, Barron or
Donald.
Okay, well, Donald's son's name. is
Possibly,
Barron.
yeah, possibly even Barron. So here's some of the connections that they
Wow.
had with the book.
Time traveler. That's messed
There
up.
are like actual documents and proof that Trump's uncle had a very close friendship with Nikola Tesla.
One more time.
There are like documents and proof that Trump's uncle, which I didn't write his full name, had a very close friendship with Nikola Tesla. Which, if there's anybody that could invent a time machine,
Yeah.
It'd be him.
It'd be him. Right. Absolutely. Okay, so Trump's uncle, older generation uncle.
sure, it's like
was-
family
Right.
stuff,
Okay.
right?
Well, family stuff is what helps.
So
the
here's the
system.
book.
Yeah. Go.
Apparently, it's like a Russian setting. There's a character named Don, who's the master of all masters. Basically, there's the Fifth Avenue Hotel in New York City where Trump Tower stands.
Right.
And this is written in 1890. It starts in New York City,
Right.
panicked after an election of an opposed outsider candidate. Mobs of anarchists and socialists plunder houses of the rich who've oppressed them. And then the first mobbed was the Fifth Avenue Hotel, which is now Trump Tower.
Okay, that's crazy. Okay, this is Barron Trump's.
Marvelous Underground Journey. Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. And 1900, or The Last President. Which, one of the things that I looked this up, this article's from Snopes, which is fact checker.
Right.
So
So when was this published, you said?
in the 1890s.
1890. Damn. Okay, cool, because
It's one of those like weird coincidental things.
Yeah.
But here's what kind of Snopes said to kind of like, hey, calm down.
Well, there are a lot of people that need to calm down.
Right. Basically, is that Baron and Don are titles. And basically,
Yeah.
so
yeah. You got your mafia dons. You've got your
So, and in the book, they're basically, that's their titles. That's not their names.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But even still, I mean, like naming your kids like titles like that, you know, which are bosses. Interesting conspiracy.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm gonna go home and
another one of those. Another one of those. I come across all kind of little gems, you know, and of course one that everybody should be looking it up. Tavistock Institute. Check it out. Tavistock Institute. They got a PDF out there, folks. It's John Coleman, I think, is the writer. This is a $6 billion nonprofit organization run by the Rockefellers. You know, and pretty much they work with a bunch of Sigmund Freud's theories on mind control and social engineering. You know, they control a lot of the media companies and the news corporations, and our politicians. So, very interesting stuff. Look it up.
I did look that up. You mentioned that a couple of weeks back, and it's a rabbit hole. The connections.
No doubt. It is a rabbit hole of connections with the corporations and mind control and just craziness.
And the thing is, they don't have to make you do anything. What they do is they make you do nothing. So that whatever else happens.
Order from chaos. Order from chaos.
You know, whatever
basically you create the chaos
on the outside to suck in the money, and you're just like,
you create the chaos, so you have the solution waiting, which is your agenda in the first place.
Right.
And that's the formula. You know, create the chaos, put the planes in the Twin Towers, so we can go get the oil that we wanted in the first place.
We didn't get any oil. We got screwed on that deal.
Well, or so we could take over the opium fields in Afghanistan and
has our opium trade improved?
Oh, it went from, they produced, before invading Afghanistan, they produced 7% of the world's opium. Now it's over 90%.
Okay. And has the price per gram gone down?
I don't know about that.
I mean, you would think if there's, you know...
I know that George Bush was big oil.
Right.
And President Obama was big pharmaceuticals and healthcare and insurance, basically.
The insurance industry, geez.
The healthcare, the pharmaceutical companies, like basically he was their, you know, puppet. So, in other news, you were talking about this one, Amazon's Alexa isn't just AI. There's actually thousands of humans that are workers. What are they doing? Listening to you.
Listening to your conversations. Listening to your requests to Alexa. It's transcribed. Funny ones are shared amongst coworkers.
Big Brother.
Right. They've recorded intimate moments. They've also recorded a sexual assault.
Yeah, I mean, so if you commit a crime, your smart TV can be taken as evidence, you know, that it, you know, all the footage and surveillance in your house, because we are constantly, you know, they're being surveilled.
Right.
You know, I mean, whether it's your Google tracker, you know, where did Google come from? You know, the initial grant from Google came from the CIA. You know, basically.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, ultimately, Google, you know, keeps track of us. You know, they can take pictures of all of our houses. You know, my dad was showing me a picture of some mansion in River Ranch the other day, and I was like, man, this just isn't cool, like that Google can just come take a picture of somebody's house. You know, and you can, like, see in their backyard. And
was that the Barbara Streisand effect?
Well, like, they own the air. You know,
they don't own it, but at a certain
nobody
point,
has rights to it, right?
At a certain point, it's fair game.
You don't own your air.
You don't own your air.
No.
You own your ground down in a wedge shape.
I think up to your house.
But your airspace is totally
right. So
limited.
They can. I mean, like, I've seen the police drones in Youngsville already. You know.
Really?
Oh, no doubt. Crazy. You know, they just like fly them around. You know, and I don't know if it's necessarily always police drones. It might be somebody else's drones, and I'm just paranoid. You know, but they have those. You know,
right.
And I don't know if it's necessarily in Youngsville yet or in Lafayette. But, you know, I mean, basically cameras everywhere. The Big Brother, there's a microphone on your phone. You know, if we say, "Oh, I'm hungry for Whataburger," you know, well then what do you know? Hey, Whataburger ad. You know, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
I don't know why Whataburger came in my mind. You know,
Because
it's been a while since I've had some.
Yeah.
It's Whataburger, especially What a Breakfast.
I haven't had Whataburger.
Ooh. The biscuits and gravy, the honey butter chicken biscuit, taquitos.
The honey butter chicken biscuit,
Ooh, yeah.
please.
Honey butter. Well, it's just, I guess, a butter biscuit
Right.
with like a chicken tender and some honey on it.
Ooh,
Very tasty.
Ooh.
And they got really good biscuits.
right.
But the biscuits and gravy, man. Ooh, yeah.
Has that got like sausage in the gravy kind of thing?
Yeah. So, but they only do that from 11 to 11.
11 p.m. to 11 a.m.?
Yep.
Oh, dude, by 11 p.m. I'm at the house.
Well, that's for the late night munchies,
Right.
mainly.
Well-
you know, or if you're ever like in town early and like, hey, you know, it's not 11 yet.
Right.
And,
Well, when you get to be an old geezer like me, you pretty much...
well, and these kids don't know what it was like to have to go try to get McDonald's breakfast.
Oh.
You know, I mean, because now it's like breakfast all the time at McDonald's.
Right.
But it was always a biatch trying to make it down to the McDonald's before breakfast was over.
Or
if you got there at
Hardee's.
10:31, you were screwed.
Right.
You know, like
You're
they would
telling
throw
me-
away their stuff before they would sell you a sausage biscuit.
Right. Bunch of punk. I swear
You know.
to God.
It's like that movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas.
Oh, I love that movie.
You know, like I feel
mean-
like that dude more and more every day. You know, just like had enough.
At some point,
You know, like
you snap.
you're 2 minutes past the breakfast time and they won't give it to you. You know, dang it, just make me a freaking Chris sandwich. You know, whatever.
Right. Chris
So-
Sandwich. That's just such a weird name.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean,
Croissant
it's a croissant.
sandwich.
That's
It's so they can copyright it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Brand name, logos.
How about this one I saw, this page that I follow on Facebook, Exposing the Elite's Agenda is the name of the page.
Okay.
They did like a little study on their own page and they said that only 7% of their followers get to see their posts. So basically Facebook is like filtering them and keeping, you know, the alternate viewpoints from being in circulation.
Why are people still on Facebook?
I don't know. I don't know why I'm on there. I mean, maybe because I think we're streaming on there tonight.
Oh,
Are
okay.
we?
I don't know. Maybe. I walked away from my personal account. I downloaded all my stuff,
Sure.
and then I deleted it. And I mean, not to be a snob or any of that sort of stuff, but you
Sure.
know what? There's less tension. There's less drama. I'm not constantly inundated with slanted points of view from various friends, and it's just like,
Right.
stop.
The worst
Just
is
stop.
like when you have a friend that like posts like funny, awesome stuff. Like they put like really funny memes, but then like they'll post like, you know, just something like, oh, I hate Trump or blah blah blah. You know, just something like negative and just like, oh, I don't want to read that. You know.
Right.
So it's like you don't want to unfollow them necessarily because they usually have great posts.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm gonna scroll past that one.
See, I still use Insta thingy
Insta thing. Yeah.
occasionally, and they've got this deal where you can mute people so that they're blocked. You know, if somebody starts going on a rant,
Right. I
or
think
they're
like
oversharing.
Facebook Messenger has that too.
Don't.
Because I've definitely muted some conversations, like when it's a big group text.
Right. Never. No, I take it back. I've installed Messenger before on an old phone when I went into town for a reunion because that's how everyone was communicating. But as soon as the reunion was over, I deleted that crap.
You deleted it.
Oh yeah.
Delete,
No.
delete.
Just no.
Well, we're heading into the second half of the show here. So I guess we've got some news we can kind of cover. I don't have that much. Let's see. I've kind of covered the conspiracy stuff. I've covered the sports stuff. Got studies, education, entertainment, and news. And lists. I've got some funny lists ahead. You know, that's something to stay tuned for. We've got 15 things you can do at Walmart while your wife is taking her sweet ass time.
Yeah.
It's a really funny list.
Yeah.
And top 20 signs that your wife is bored having sex with you. Hey, you know, it goes hand in hand there. You go to Walmart, and then you're not getting any once you get home.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it goes. You know?
Okay.
Love and marriage, love and marriage. Okay, I guess.
And then we've got some in this day, or on this day in history.
You've got some on this day, yes.
yeah.
Which we could do on this day whenever you'd like. You want to do maybe headlines, and then we could do on this days, then do some entertainment.
Right. Do you
Education study.
Do you want to have the coffee talk?
Coffee talk. Coffee talk. Didn't they have a segment on Saturday Night Live? This is Coffee Talk, and with Mike Myers.
Right. But was it coffee talk?
Coffee Talk.
I know.
So,
He
it
was
sounds
playing
familiar.
that Jewish lady with the accent. And, yeah.
So, anyways, yes,
Yeah.
Coffee Talk. So, what would you like to say about coffee, Mo?
It's as Americans, as consumers of coffee,
We are consumers.
there are multiple ways of brewing coffee,
Surely.
and
Different strokes, different folks.
exactly.
Some people like their pumpkin spice, or you know, or
oh no, not even the flavors yet. We're just talking about
regular,
how you get
like bean,
the flavor
or
out of
grind.
the bean. Right.
You know,
the
community,
different grinds. Do you
or-
have a pour over? Do you have a drip machine? Do you
Right.
have an espresso machine? Do you use an Italian mocha pot?
or even the Keurig, which a lot of people use nowadays.
Right. I'm not a fan of those. I mean,
I don't know,
I
I-
use them at the B&Bs.
I almost
but-
think that's like cancer coffee, you know? I mean, like you're getting on like all the metal foil all heated up in
Right.
your coffee, and you know, I drink it. You know, I'll drink some cancer. You know, it's all
Yeah,
good.
well-
We all do from time to time.
Right. Back in the day, you change your own brake pads, get a little taste of asbestos.
You know, just drinking like some Koto water. You know, I mean, like.
Oh! Water in the dirty curve.
All right, high five cancer. Which speaking of which, all of those with cancer, we're praying for you. You know, I've been there. It sucks.
Yeah.
So Julian Assange is in the news.
yeah.
After 7 years, he's been taken into British custody. He's been seeking asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy there in London. But he's from WikiLeaks, who basically released a lot of government documents, you know, which were top secret. You know, I don't know, is it journalism, you know, or is it the First Amendment right to be able to release this stuff? Is he a traitor? Is he a whistleblower, a hero? You know, so basically is releasing corrupt government documents journalism or treason?
Well, since he's not an American citizen, it can't be treason.
Well, that's true. But even still releasing, you know, documents that are confidential. You know, should the government be able to have secrets?
The one thing I want to know is how come they aren't releasing stuff about Russia and China and other, pardon me, authoritarian.
It's just got to play into the narrative.
Totalitarian regimes. Why is it always releasing information about America?
Well, because we're in America, it's probably different on different news cycles.
You
In
think?
different countries. I don't know. I mean, on the BBC, I'm sure they see a lot of American stuff, you know, but...
No, I listen to the world, and
Sure.
I mean I like the BBC.
Hello, world. Talk to me. Oh, and we've got to go. What do you do? Hello.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
We're doing fantastic, sir. Welcome to Higher Thought.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I can smell you from here, gentlemen.
Ooh, and we smell stanky.
Oh Jesus God Almighty!
I just had a comment about Assange. I heard that on the news today about how that part of the complaint was that he was releasing U.S. Information, you know, stuff he had gathered from the U.S. government, but not from other governments, which I
Right.
thought was kind of delicious because it's like, oh well, no, they'd be fine with it if they were giving away, the secrets of other nations. But since they're giving away our secrets, it's bad. I don't know. It just felt particularly disingenuous.
Well,
Right.
surely, and like people on a global scale are defending him, and his right to be a journalist and protect. Like, hey, when corrupt governments are doing corrupt things, we should be able to expose it rather than it being buried.
Right, but is he really a journalist or is he a data store? I mean, is he
Right, or a
I mean,
hacker slash.
well,
Same
I
with
mean,
Snowden.
If someone provides him with the information and all he does is make that information available, what's he done?
Right,
Other than
and
make the information
Isn't that the theme
available?
of the internet? Like all of the information you want is out there,
Right.
So it basically boils down to should governments be able to keep secrets, and I think that answer is in some circumstances yes.
Did Assange get played by the Russians to do the Clinton email release?
Well, it definitely affected the 2016 election, and that it exposed a lot of Hillary Clinton scams, which a lot of people already knew about,
Right.
but it basically gave evidence. Why she's not in prison yet, I don't. She's protected. She's She's up there. She's up there on the hierarchy. But what are your thoughts on it, caller?
As far as the email stuff, I think it's just that's one of those things that everybody's doing it, and they've shown that Jared Kushner and a lot of these folks are also using private email servers to
Right.
this day, which is
Right.
concerning. But
They're
I think
all
more
hypocrites.
Broadly, yeah, everybody exactly. Everybody's hands are dirty. But I think more broadly that the initial what was the name of it? Collateral murder was the name of that. That I think what gets lost is that this came about with a helicopter shooting 50-millimeter slugs into journalists. That was
Yes.
This is what happened. This was released because our military murdered journalists on the ground in Iraq, and that the tape that got released, that's the thing we should be talking about. Of course, we won't, because that gets to the heart of the problem, which is.
Well, and who is the
what
victim
is right,
of
but what are we
this
allowed to do?
crime that he's done? Has anybody really gotten hurt? A couple of ambassadors had to get misplaced and go different places. But nobody was actually murdered or killed, or some people might have lost a job or quit. But
Yeah,
how did it hurt anybody? It informed people.
that's where
It hurt the government, and that they were keeping their secrets.
Right.
Yeah.
But ultimately, governments and military do need some secrets. It's kind of the element of surprise thing,
Right. Well,
Yeah.
there's a certain amount of operational secrecy that makes sense, but after
Yeah.
the fact, there should be some level of transparency.
Right.
With appropriate redactions to cover the identities of the locals in
No doubt.
those
Yeah,
situations.
our assets.
Right. I mean, you don't want to
Yeah.
burn somebody that's actually helped you out.
Yeah.
Which, caller, we got one last question for you before we let you go. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Oh, I am. I've been stockpiling wine because it also falls on Palm Sunday, which is the day that I relinquish Lent. I've been not drinking for Lent, and buddy, I'm gonna be drinking some wine and
Woo!
watching Thursday and some Aria. Yes, indeed.
Which I actually watched my first episode of Game of Thrones not too long ago. I was at my sister-in-law's house just kind of hanging out, and they were watching it. It was like season 3 or something like that.
Right.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's Game of Thrones, but they say people swear on it,
Yeah.
Um,
I think I started watching about season 3 and got hooked and watched them all, and now my girlfriend and I last year rewatched every episode in preparation for the final season. So we're pretty excited. Did you ever go back? Have you watched them yet, or are you planning to?
No, I actually don't have HBO, so I haven't had access to it, and I just haven't been that hungry to go watch it.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like taking a very addictive, bad drug. It's just do I really want to get addicted to that? Oh, no, I'm okay. I've got better things to do with my time than
How many streaming
Maybe one day,
services-
maybe this summer, maybe this summer.
How many streaming
Yeah,
services
yeah.
can you really use?
Exactly. You know, you can only watch so much. So, well, we appreciate the call, and
Thank
yeah.
you very much. Call back
Yeah,
anytime.
thanks for taking my call. Y'all have a great rest of the show.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, and I guess wrapping up the news here, the Rolling Stones and Fleetwood Mac cancel Jazz Fest
Yeah.
appearance, apparently due to being old AF.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mick had to have what, a stent put in?
Something like that.
Something like
And I
that?
guess Stevie Nicks had the flu. And
Flu. Oh well, if she got the flu that I got a month or so ago.
well, how do you
Oh.
know like a month in advance that you're still going to be sick?
Oh. Okay.
I don't know.
No, that's a good question. Hadn't thought about that.
NASA gets the picture, first ever picture of a black hole.
Yeah, saw that.
You
That
know,
was
that's
pretty
a
cool.
very
Eye of Sauron.
big news in the physics and astrological world. That didn't sound right.
Astronomical?
Yeah, astronomical.
Astrophysics?
Yeah, astrophysics. Yeah, just go fit with physics.
Astrophysics.
Watch out, Lafayette. OWI checkpoint tomorrow night. Call the Ubers.
Call the Ubers. If you're gonna get lit, call an Uber. It doesn't matter about checkpoints. Don't drink and drive, people.
Well,
it's just not a good thing.
I think there is maybe a Twitter site or some kind of website that updates where they have the checkpoints, and people can post on it once they find out where it is. And so
Right.
after 9 o'clock, like maybe around 9:30, 9:45, somebody will have posted where it's at, so you can avoid that area.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing.
I mean, even when I'm sober, I don't like driving through those things.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
avoid it, if I could turn right, I could be a sober a day. It doesn't matter. Just a bunch of flashing lights, it gives anybody anxiety.
Right. Oh yeah. It definitely gives me the willies to know.
And you don't even know whether it's a wreck or a checkpoint. It's just I don't want to find out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We love our officers.
Right.
We
Perform a valuable function to our community.
no doubt, indeed, no doubt.
But,
Butter.
butter. Yeah.
All right. So this day in history, what happened?
Oh, well. Lots of weird and interesting things. Today in history, Congress proclaimed a formal end to hostilities with Great Britain. So that was the end of the Revolutionary War.
Until they burnt down the White House, right?
Oh, well, that was the War of 1812.
All right. Well, only 20, 30 years later.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that was the 90s for us.
but we started it, so.
Well, right.
Okay, so
Well,
anyway.
they started it with their
Um,
empirical,
Imperial.
bullshit.
Imperial?
Imperial, yeah.
Yeah.
Empirical would be testing and data, yeah.
And
They're almost Friday.
today in 1814, Napoleon abdicates and gets exiled to Elba. The first submarine was ordered for the government, for the U.S. Navy. That was 1900. 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first black in Major League Baseball today.
It was, so that was the first sub, but it wasn't the last.
Oh, God, yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
Jokes.
1963, today in 1963, the first combat troops, 100 members of the 125th Infantry Division were deployed to Vietnam. 66, Sinatra recorded Strangers in the Night.
Strangers in the night.
Love that song. Love that song.
Sinatra, good stuff.
Today in 68, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act.
I did read that one. That one was probably the highlight of the day.
Right. Today in 76, Apple released its first computer, the Apple I.
I did see that, and I saw the revolution of their logo from the first one to the little apple that they got
Right.
now.
In 79, they overthrew Idi Amin, the dictator of Uganda.
What a dictator.
In 70, the launch of Apollo 13 to the moon, The one where they had the blowout in the service module and had to basically skip landing on the moon and limp their way home.
Okay.
Um,
Apollo 13.
yeah. The rest of it's crap.
Didn't Tom Hanks go on Apollo 13 to the moon? And of course he missed. Did he bring Wilson with him?
I don't know. I'm confused. I know Wilson.
Oh, well, right, but Tom Hanks was in the movie Apollo 13.
Was he?
I think he was Jim Lovett.
Okay. Lovell.
Lovett. I'm off today. I'm off. Okay, and what else?
Birthdays.
Birthday!
1930, Anton LaVey.
Okay.
Anton LaVey is the founder of the Church of Satan.
Hail's Hydra.
Yeah, okay, anyway.
We'll go Hydra.
1935, Richard Kuklinski, known as the Iceman. He was a mafia hitman.
Okay.
They had
Please don't be offended.
interviews with him that he was really... It was a creepy experience watching him answer the questions.
Right, you don't want to mess with Iceman.
Yeah. Anyway, other than that, regular people like you and me, we were born, we died, things happened.
Yeah, I saw we had actually a birthday show on here a couple weeks ago. You know,
That's
so,
true. That's true. Time passes.
So we mentioned the Game of Thrones final season. I guess that we love our entertainment here in America, so I've got us a couple entertainment stories. How about that? So if you want to get out and have some fun, go see a movie, well, you might have to try to get your Avengers Endgame tickets a little early, and you might end up paying anywhere from $100 to even $10,000 for some opening weekend tickets to Avengers.
Oh no, not happening.
They're going for about $10,000 in New York City, like $9,500.
No, people can't really be that.
You know, I mean, like,
Can they really be that daft, that desperate, that, fear of missing out, fear of not being
and are there really
first?
not that many theaters like in New York City? I guess. I mean, like to where like it's a packed house. I mean, like I'm sure it's gonna sell out.
Right.
But holy moly!
Yeah.
But speaking of Marvel, did you hear that the Hercules is gonna be Marvel's first openly gay hero in the movie Eternals with Angelina Jolie?
Okay.
Which is kind of weird because like it's a movie about our origins and the origins of the mutants and whatnot.
Okay, but we're talking about the
Hercules.
Greek Hercules.
Yeah.
Did
the first openly gay hero.
Did all the labors of Hercules and the Aegean stables?
Apparently, he's gonna have a
He's
booty
gonna be-
buddy.
Okay. That's.
Speaking of having a booty buddy, Leaving Neverland, the movie about Michael Jackson.
Heard all about it, haven't seen it.
The director apparently is backtracking now after lies have been exposed about the documentary. But basically this accusation that they made was before the ranch was ever even built. Which, how did they not catch that before? That's kind of weird. Okay, so, I mean, I guess the movie's disclaimed now and we can put Mike back on the radio. And also, speaking of booty buddies, David Blaine, the magician, does the street tricks. And he's a pretty good magician. He's actually accused of hypnotizing women to perform sexual acts on him.
No.
You know he can.
No.
You know he can.
No.
I mean, that dude's a pretty wicked magician, unless it's like camera tricks or whatever. Like he sold his soul to the devil to be able to do some crazy stuff, and is a wizard. And
Okay. No.
And yes, so that covers entertainment. A couple quick little education and studies, and then we can try to get to our list and get those. We only got about 7 minutes. So, seniors at Sophie B. Wright in New Orleans, which is a charter school, did a senior prank, and now they can't walk at graduation.
What was their senior prank?
Basically, they had like a big water gun, like eggs, mustard, vinegar, water balloons, and it got inside and basically it had gotten out before that they were going to do that, and they were warned on social media that basically there would be consequences. And they did it anyways, and it got inside, it did damage, and they were saying there could be possible civil and criminal charges.
Okay.
So is the school taking it too far? You know,
No.
kids just having fun, but
If they were warned and told that there would be consequences,
especially if you do damage to property.
right, then there should be consequences.
So I mean, it sucks for the kids. They won't be able to walk at graduation or go to prom or something like that. But
Whatever.
there are worse things.
Yeah.
Walking at graduation is really overrated, anyways. How about this one? A clever 6-year-old girl skipped school spelling test by dotting herself with a red pen, saying she had the chicken pox. Ended up backfiring on her, though, because there was a permanent marker, so she had red dots all over her for 4 days.
Okay.
So, serves her right. And how about this one? A study, and who pays for this stuff? Primates. 100 different species, including humans, only have enough energy to either one or the other. Grow big testicles or have a really long beard or mane. So basically, the people that have long beards and manes are overcompensating for their small testicles.
Oh, okay.
And these scientists, I don't know the joy and pleasure they got out of this, but they studied different testicle sizes of 100 different species, including humans.
Right.
Is this science or kink?
It depends on if they got aroused or not.
Well, who's to say? Who's to say?
They'd be the ones to say, because
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like something that it would interest me.
Well, you would think in like a testing environment, you don't want to disturb the testes.
Ha 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 ha.
You like that
Yeah, I love that one.
one? Okay, so 15 things to do at Walmart while your wife is taking her sweet ass time.
Yeah.
Some of these are really funny. Go get 24 boxes of condoms and randomly put them in people's carts when they aren't looking. Okay, set all the alarm clocks and housewares to go off at 5-minute intervals. Make a trail of tomato juice on the floor leading to the women's restroom.
No.
This is good stuff. Get a hold of yourself.
Yeah, man.
Get a hold of yourself. Let's see. Walk up to an employee and tell them in an official tone, code 3 in housewares, and see what happens. Go to a service desk and ask to put a bag of M&Ms on layaway. Move a caution wet floor sign to a carpeted area. Set up a tent in the camping department. Tell other shoppers you'll invite them in if they bring pillows in the bedding department. When a clerk asks if they can help you, begin to cry and ask, why can't you people just leave me alone?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Look right in the security camera. Use it as a mirror and pick your nose. While handling guns in the hunting department, ask the clerk if he knows where the antidepressants are. Dart around the store suspiciously while loudly humming the theme from Mission Impossible. In the auto department, practice your Madonna look using different size funnels. Strike a pose.
Yeah.
Hide in the clothing rack, and when people browse through, say, pick me, pick me.
No.
This guy's really bored.
Yeah.
When an announcement comes over the loudspeaker, assume the fetal position and scream, no, no, it's the voices again. And last, go into the fitting room, shut the door, and wait a while, and then yell loudly, hey, you're out of the toilet paper in here. So,
Yeah.
if you do all that, here's some signs that she's bored having sex with you.
Yeah. Go
See
ahead.
if you know any of these.
What's the number one sign?
After you request sex, she replies, wait till the NyQuil kicks in.
Oh.
Gets very upset when the ashtray falls off your ass. And actually answers when you ask, who's your daddy? Last time she screamed during sex was the first time she wanted solitaire. Only Only moans during commercial breaks. Starts her fake orgasms during foreplay. Keeps trying to set you up with her friends. Runs for vacant Senate seat in New York. Okay. You're currently sitting backstage at the Springer Show. Beginning to think she is only playing dead. Let's see. During the act, she actually yelled out, "Oh, baby, yada, yada, yada."
Oh, baby, yada, yada, yada.
She suddenly started making you pay in advance.
Yeah.
Instead of asking to leave her shirt on, she asked to leave her pants on, too. She keeps asking, "Are you sure you're not gay?" Boredom. So why she keeps deflating. That's why she keeps deflating. Hold up a picture of a Playboy centerfold to hurry you along. Asked to be on top so she can balance her checkbook better. She yells out her own name. And the number one reason, or sign that she's bored having sex with you, she bangs her head on the headboard before you begin.
Oh.
Folks, it's always a pleasure. We appreciate our caller earlier, Mo.
Nay.
Yeah, good list, good fun, you know.
Yeah.
Tune in next week, next Thursday. This is how we do it.
Yeah. We may end up calling ourselves something different.
Yeah, well, that's coming in June, I think.
June?
New season in June.
Okay.
You know, which I think we've done like 3 seasons already. But bye! It's a time to go! Whoa!
Woo.
Did it. Which, get that thing.